As the pandemic started, we went to a lot of virtual work, a lot of remote work, and that has a big impact on the future of work in general. But there are a couple of things that I want to reflect on in the context of intimacy and trust. It's the use of masks. If you remember, when I talked about intimacy, and I talk about that in the book of Trust, intimacy is important for us to see the consistency between what you say and what you really mean. Because what you say, you can probably control what you say, but how you say it and your body language is something that you can't control. And when they are inconsistent, we don't trust the person who tells us something. When we're wearing masks, we cover a lot of the facial muscles that allow us to see what the other person really means. So it kind of hurts that intimacy. It kind of hurts our ability to know if we can trust another person or not, or to accelerate the building of trust by seeing the other person's body language. An interesting side effect is we are having a lot more Zoom meetings, and Zoom or Teams or Google Meets and all the other methods of video conferencing. When we do that, we're not wearing masks. So you can argue that you can build trust faster or know if somebody can be trusted and whether they're consistent between their words and their body language, seeing them through Zoom without the mask, than seeing them in person with the mask on. You still can see the rest of their bodies, and so you can see their hands, and you can see how consistent their body language, other than their face, is with what they're saying. And one of the behaviors that we really need to avoid if we want to be trusted is to close the camera. We need to open the cameras. We need to let the other people see us. To me, whenever I have this first conversation, and it will take place remotely because I'm about to go and speak to a client, and before I fly there to give them a keynote or a workshop, I want to first talk to them, but I want them to see my face. I want to see their faces, but I want them to see my face as well. One other issue that came out of remote working is that as a supervisor, as a leader, as a boss, you can see that your people are actually working. As a professor, as an instructor, a teacher, you can see that your students are really doing the work. And there have been a lot of tools that were developed, a lot of apps that would allow you to see if your people are doing their work, their job. If you need to see, if you need a tool to monitor whether your people are doing their jobs, you're doing two things. First is you probably have the wrong people, because you don't trust them, because this is your starting point. My starting point is I don't trust them. But the second thing that you're doing is you're actually hurting their trustworthiness. Because as I said many times, trust and trustworthiness are reciprocal. It's not only that if you behave in a trustworthy way, then I will trust you. But if I trust you and I show you that I trust you, then you will behave in a trustworthy way. If I distrust you and I show you that I distrust you, what's the point for you to behave in a trustworthy way if you already know that I don't trust you? So when you are using any of those tools to make sure that your employees are doing their work, you are telling them that you don't trust them. And when you do that, they will behave in an untrustworthy way. Self-fulfilling prophecy. This was only a part of an episode of The Trust Show. You can watch the full episode on my YouTube channel, The Trust Show, or listen to it on The Trust Show podcast on Apple or anywhere else you listen to your favorite podcasts. Thank you for watching.